Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another episode. And yes, we have guests again. That's amazing. I know people get tired of listening to me all the time, but it's great to have guests. And speaking of guests, we also had the Champions League and Europa League draws taking place earlier today. Some very interesting matches, and so we've got a few guys here to talk to us about that. We've got Shashwat joining me. Shashwat, welcome to the show.
Hi Rohit, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you as well?
Yeah, I'm also doing good. Uh,
Yes. And we've got Nishikant here as well. Hi, Nishikant.
Hey Rohit, thanks for
And,
having me, man.
yes, and of course, Zeehan as well. Zeehan, welcome to the show. Uh,
Good to be here for quite some time.
yes, it's been quite a while. And I can see Zeehan and Nishikant are really beaming. They got beaming smiles on there. And so I'm going to just start by asking you guys, because you guys are Chelsea fans, who has Chelsea bribed this season to get all these easy draws? I mean, you're getting Sheffield in the FA Cup this Saturday. Now you got Porto in the Champions League. And
Lady
probably the
Black
easiest
Eyes.
draws. What this Chelsea put aside some budget from the transfer money to also bribe teams? Or bribe UEFA,
No,
I guess.
Well, it's
I want to say
kind of
something. I mean,
difficult to. I would just say that it's difficult to explain the workings of Champions League to Europa League teams. So I'm not sure how to explain that. You got to be in Champions League to actually you know
Well, we were in the
understand.
Champions League and we got a very difficult draw. I'll just say that we got probably the group of death and we got knocked out because of that. And that's probably because one of the teams that Chelsea was supposed to get, United, got one of those teams. So they put three in for us and you guys got the easy ones. But no, I'm kidding. But anyway, we'll start with that. I'm just kidding. But anyway, we'll start with that one, Chelsea against Porto. Interesting tie. I think Porto is a team that every team probably would have wanted. And so Chelsea get that one. It's interesting, isn't it, to see that one?
Yeah, it's the easiest draw, definitely, at least on paper, among the draws that could have happened. Uh, Personally, I wanted Real Madrid just so we could play against them, beat them, and take a look at Courtois and see how it feels to lose against us. So just because of that, uh, but yeah, it's the easiest draw on paper. Like we were discussing earlier, it's a game we should win.
Yeah.
Whether we would win or not remains to be seen, because this has a potential to be a banana skin, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of fluff our lines usually in games like the weaker against the so-called weaker teams. It's same happened to City last season. So obviously Porto are there because they deserved it. They finished second in the group that had Manchester City, right? And they beat Juventus, so they have earned the right to be where they are. So we got to give them that respect.
Yeah.
And just hopefully we can win this. I mean, it's certainly the best chance that we have to qualify for semis.
Yeah, I was at Porto Juventus game, the second leg, and Porto play a very interesting brand of football. Is they are mentally very strong, of course. To go down to 10 men and still manage to win that game was something. But I don't think Chelsea as bad as Juventus were. That game. I don't know if you guys saw it. I just thought Juventus were really really bad. This
Juventus
season
have been bad in general this season.
yeah, I would say that I put this tweet out as well as out there. I thought United had probably the most incompetent midfield creatively that I'd ever seen, and then I saw Juventus, and I was like, maybe Juventus is more overrated and more incompetent when it comes to creativity. But anyway, Gian,
I think they missed Pogba.
Well, Italian league is not known to be creative for its creativeness. Right?
Well,
So
that's true, but they did have Rabiot and Ramsey and players that are supposed to be creative. But anyway,
Ramsey.
yes, yeah. And anyway, Gian, what's your score prediction for this one? Porto Chelsea. What do you think?
Aggregate.
Yeah, well, the aggregate, yes. Yeah, there's two legs, right? So 6-0, 7-0.
It's so hard to say. No, I don't think so because
I'm
again,
kidding.
like you said, credit to Porto for beating Juventus. I mean, they have one of the two world's best players. I mean, one of the monsters, and they still got here. And no matter how bad Juventus might be on form, on paper, they're one of the world's best teams. You have to give it to them. So, and one thing I wanted to say about Chelsea getting the easiest draw is in the last 16, nobody's talking about it. We got the hardest draw. I mean, we literally got the one elite team of the second place team. The one team. Yeah, sure, Bayern beat them 4-0, but Bayern is Bayern. They beat Barca 8-2.
I mean, we got Bayern last time. We didn't come.
So we got Bayern last time. We got Atletico this time. And every time we've been getting now monster teams. every time
Yes.
we've qualified. I mean, ever since we won the Champions League, I don't think we've ever had it easy. For once we got a Porto. I mean, I'm so happy. I'm beaming just because of that. Because luck for once is on our side, not against us. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, score predictions. I won't disrespect Porto in that way, but I do think we will go through. But I think it's by 2 goals, maybe 3-1 to Chelsea.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's
Uh,
interesting.
we've been
Well, it's
keeping
interesting
clean
you
sheets in
said.
almost every other game, but I think Porto will get one against us. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very fast on the counter attack. I mean, oh my God, their pace. They are fast. Uh,
Just as long
Chelsea,
as
yeah,
we can score 2 goals, we'll win. If we can
That's the
score two
question. Yes,
goals,
isn't it?
we'll
Is
win.
3 goals too optimistic against Porto? I don't know. It's
No,
interesting you said that.
3 goals is too optimistic for Chelsea.
Yeah,
I
that's what
don't
I'm
know if
saying.
it's
Yeah.
optimistic against Porto or not. It's just too optimistic to hope from our front three to score
Or
three
maybe
goals.
Tuchel is, maybe he's fixed the defense. Maybe the next step will be the attack. But it's interesting you
Fingers
mentioned that
crossed.
it was the hardest draw because maybe Barcelona would have something to say about that. I know they got beat by PSG, but the PSG against Barcelona might have been one of those second place teams. Real Madrid were a
no,
second place team too, but they got a pretty easy one, didn't they? In the end, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
no,
no,
no.
actually, Real Madrid finished first,
Real was
and
the first place team.
No,
yes, yes,
Real
Real
was
yeah,
the
was Real
first.
Real,
was
Real,
first. Sorry, yes, I'm
uh,
thinking they were not in the same group as Juventus. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they got an easy one against Atalanta. But my advice to Chelsea players, whoever's marking on the wall during a free kick, don't turn your back to a free kick that comes in. That's what you don't want to be doing. But let's talk about some of the other games. I know we've got a few other games to talk about. Shashwat, we'll talk about one of the other games. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
Manchester City against Borussia Dortmund. That's an
Yeah.
interesting tie. It's attack against defense in some ways, and Haaland versus Stones and
Diaz.
this guy Ruben Diaz. Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
interesting matchup in some ways.
Yeah. I think definitely. I think Manchester City starts as a favorite for this game. I think because the reason because eh, collectively, if you see, they have the best. They have almost backup for every position. They can start Sterling as a false nine. They can play Aguero, Jesus as anyone means in the as a striker. So I think at present City starts as a favorite, but yeah, they only have to worry about three players. That one is Haaland, that is for sure because he is at the moment one of the best young talents uh, at the moment. Second is Jadon Sancho, and if Sancho is fit, then this game will be little bit interesting. Means it will be interesting. It's no doubt it's not it will not be a one-sided game or it will be like that. But
guess it'll be an
Sancho,
audition for Sancho.
yeah, it will be an audition for Sancho because I think he's going this summer. He will be tracked by the Manchester teams either because Manchester United failed to sign him last season. So this season they will be definitely try to and he didn't have a very good season at Dortmund at the moment. He was as we expected, and also City will look after them. So at present, I think and Marco Reus, these three players who can trouble Manchester City, but overall, I think there is a too much quality in City. So I think I'm predicting a City win.
Yeah, I think everybody's predicting City win. It's interesting you said they can play Sterling as a false nine. Gabriel Jesus plays every week as a false nine, but in a different sort of role where he's basically supposed to be a striker, but he's not really a striker. No, that's just too subtle a joke for people, maybe. But anyway, on that note, I think it's interesting that you mentioned that three key players are actually strikers. I watched the game against Bayern and I just thought, there's something lacking Dortmund. They were 2-0 up in that game. They ended up losing 4-2. Just mentality, I think, is something, Nishikant, that I just there's something missing there, and that's why I think City are favorites because even though City get out in quarterfinals, I think they have that big game experience that is going to carry them through in this one, just according to me, anyway.
Yeah, it's not working out for Dortmund clearly, and yeah, I mean, they obviously they have good players. They have very good players.
Yeah.
They have the most coveted striker in the world, and who's in like top form, right? And overall, a lot of players like Shashwat mentioned Sancho and other players who are actually pretty good players, but still somehow they're not gelling well. And it could be, I don't think it's a personnel problem. It might be a problem in the club, because there are news reports that club is struggling financially because of all this COVID lockdown. Because Dortmund as a club depend a lot on the match day revenue that comes from fans, coming to the stadium. So obviously that's cut down, and there are reports that they they might be forced to sell Haaland and Jadon Sancho just to balance their books. So that probably, could be these kind of things happening in the club behind the scenes, could be detrimental to the morale of the coach and the coaching staff and the players as well. Yeah, because if your best players think that I'm not going to be here next season, why would they may not want to give 100%? They are human after all, right? There are some certain human tendencies that it stays with you. So I think that probably could be a reason behind why they are struggling, because on paper they are a really good team. They have a good manager, and there shouldn't be as much a difference as we have right now between Man City and Dortmund, wherein City are overwhelmingly favorites. The gap shouldn't be this much,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely makes sense. I just think that it's age as well. The city have Dortmund have a lot of young players in their team. Like you look at Jude Bellingham, he's only 17. Sancho is still only 20.
Yeah.
Haaland is only 20, even though he doesn't play that way. So I think that experienced players are not very good. Like Hummels is absolute liability in defense. You got Rafael Guerrero, who's more interested in being a winger than a fullback. So you got a lot of issues there, and hopefully Dortmund can somehow maybe make it work out. The coach is also pretty inexperienced, by the way. He's a young caretaker manager as well. They're going to have a
Yeah.
new manager next season in Marco Rose. So it's interesting to see what will happen, but it's definitely an intriguing tie. If only to see if Haaland can get past probably the Premier League's best defense. We're going to switch gears to another one. Liverpool against Real Madrid. Gian, I know you're a Chelsea fan, but I'm going to ask you to. Oh, he's stepped off, has he? I think we've had it. Oh, there you go. You're back. Yes, Gian, I'm going to need you to turn on your Real Madrid hat for a moment. Liverpool against Real Madrid. That's the tie. Real Madrid not very good, but somehow seem to get the job done. It's Ramos against Mo Salah again. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to see the fortunes since that Champions League finalists. And Liverpool have gone on to win a Champions League. They've gone on to win the Premier League. Real Madrid, struggled a little bit. Still, I managed to win La Liga once. Whatever that says about La Liga's quality. Where do you see this one going? This time, Real Madrid, Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, the draw has given us two gifts: the 2018 replay and the 2020 replay. Both finals again. Uh, Again, Real versus Liverpool. This is going to be amazing. Uh, Liverpool are a much stronger team than they were in 2018, but that is if they had all their players back. Uh, I'm so sorry, but Chelsea beat them. Okay, fine, maybe Chelsea's on form, but they can't beat Fulham right now. I'm talking about a team that's 14th in the league, and we're talking about
At home.
At home, they lost 6 on the bounce at home, and
But they've
that
done
is
well
so
in
bad.
Champions League, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have.
To
but,
be fair, they didn't
when
play
you
at home in the Champions League, right? They don't play at Anfield, so maybe that's why they win, because they don't have to play at Anfield. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everybody comes here and wins except Liverpool. It's that hard to win at Anfield right now. But yeah, I mean, the Real Madrid themselves have not been on form to themselves. Ramos and Benzema keeps getting in the way, and they're the only reasons that Real Madrid are getting the points that they are. I'll be honest with you. Both teams kind of off form. I do expect Liverpool's front three to turn up on their day because, well, we all know about the magical nights at Anfield. I don't know if you guys remember still, but the last time Liverpool faced Real Madrid at this stage of the Champions League, they won 5-0 on aggregate. Torres scored a beautiful brace that time.
That was
Gerrard
round of
was on
16, but
52.
yeah. That was a round of 16, but I get your point. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're close by. I mean, the last time they faced them after that was in the finals, and Salah kind of had his arm ripped off by accident. So, in case there aren't any more accidents, it should be a cracking tie. But I don't see that Salah dependence in Liverpool anymore. There's so much more well balanced right now, if they can get their players back in time. Klopp has said that most of his players will be coming back, so I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a cracking tie, I think, as well. Liverpool against Madrid. It'll be interesting. It's a Real Madrid team that can't seem to score goals if Benzema is not on the field, and a Liverpool team that can't seem to have central defenders fit if their life dependent upon it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that one. I think we lost Shashwat for a second. I don't know. I think he just stepped off. But we'll talk about the final one, the blockbuster clash, the cracking tie. And I don't think anybody expected it to come this soon in the competition, but it's happening. Bayern Munich
Not
against
me.
Paris Saint-Germain. And it's interesting, isn't it, for Bayern Munich and PSG? I think Bayern Munich were a bit lucky to win the final. Not that they weren't very good; they were very good. But I mean, if Mbappe scores that open goal, things change. But he looks to be on form. Nishikant is this season defining for Mbappe now to probably take that final step towards becoming. I mean, everybody agrees that he's probably world class, but just taking that
Yeah.
final step to being considered among one of the top players in the game right now. I think is this game a defining moment for him?
Well, he is a top player. So I think, we shouldn't just judge player based on number of trophies. But yeah, you need a feather in your cap, something to distinguish you from, rest of the very, very good players. If you're playing at this level, you're a very good player. That's why you're playing at this level. So yeah, he definitely needs that one going. He has to go that extra mile to prove himself that he can win a game for his club. He can win uh, you know a competition, a trophy for his club. So if he can do that, if he can prove that, and I think the monkey's on the back of Neymar as well. I mean, he has a chip on his shoulder. He needs to prove to the world that he can, without having Messi and Suarez and being part of a great Barcelona team, not having that, and he can go elsewhere and be a legend for that club because he won them trophies. So I think for both of them, definitely Mbappe as well as Neymar, I think they have something to prove. I don't know if this would be a last chance for Mbappe because he's still pretty young. So maybe a season or so more. But yeah, definitely it's high time for
Yeah.
Mbappe and Neymar to prove that they can make PSG win trophies, because winning Liga is not something. I mean, you're expected to win it, right, with the players that you have. But this is the big stage where you have to do the job.
Yeah, well, there's a chance they might not win it this year, so there's definitely a lot of pressure. I guess it's the defining moment for Mbappe at PSG. I think he still has a lot of time, but I think at PSG he's probably not going to be
Yeah.
sticking around for too long at
Well,
PSG,
I mean,
um,
yeah,
unless they throw a lot of money at him. But
that I think could be, regardless of what happens between this season of Champions League, because I think big clubs are after him, and PSG would need to work very hard to retain him, and ultimately they may not think it a good, wise decision financially to retain him, and maybe just offload him off the book, just get him off the books.
yeah, all right. Your predictions, score predictions for that one. Nishigan, we'll start with you. Aggregate prediction.
For
Bayern PSG. Yeah,
ah, interesting. Aggregate prediction: Bayern wins this 5-2.
5-2. Wow. Okay. Jian, what do you think?
You're not going to like it, but 4-2 to PSG
Well,
because
I have no skin in the game, so I don't care what happens either way. Before
no,
to
I mean
PSG, that's interesting.
probably an unpopular
Interesting.
opinion, but I believe
Yeah.
that every great thing must come to an end. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
really think this is Bayern's end. I mean, this is just out of superstition or whatever you call it, because it has to come to an end. I mean, Bayern have been doing this for what, so many years, relentless. Somebody has to stop them, and if there's anybody, it's going to be PSG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Bayern haven't looked at their best this season. I watched Alfonso Davies. I don't think he's hit the heights that he hit last season. I think they're lacking just a little bit without Boateng and Alaba in form as well. So, I mean, it's not that they're a bad team or that they're bad. It's just there's something missing. And I think they were benefited from having only a single, playoff knockout, and having a break in between. Whereas it's relentless the way that they play. It's just
If
incredible. So,
Lewandowski is on form, then it doesn't matter who's playing bad. He'll
yeah.
win you the game single-handedly.
Yeah, well, that's true. You need yeah, but I mean, yeah, this is quite dependent on Lewandowski and Sané these days. I think
They
Sané
are
is very
dependent on
good.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sane.
Yeah. So anyway,
last
we'll
season
see.
we had players coming out of nowhere and scoring goals for them. That's not the scene this time.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens. That's going to be cracking. It's going to be interesting. Before I move on to the Europa League, and we're not going to do a full Europa League. We only look at a couple of teams because nobody knows the names of the other teams. I'm kidding. That's not the case. But semi-final draws. It's interesting. Chelsea against Liverpool again with the place in Istanbul on the line. That's a possibility. That could happen. I mean,
Yeah,
Chelsea are
that's
probably
a
going to be there,
possibility.
but Chelsea Liverpool. I mean, that's an interesting one, isn't it? To look at if
Or
that could
Chelsea
happen.
Real Madrid, and
Or
we
Chelsea
could.
Real Madrid, but yeah, but I mean the common consensus would be possibility of Chelsea
Yeah,
Liverpool. Would that bring back
there's a
old
good
wounds,
chance it
old
would be
trauma?
Chelsea versus Liverpool.
Probably Porto. We
Oh,
might get knocked out. Who knows?
yeah, well that's true, but you expect Chelsea to make it through against Porto. You expect them.
Yeah.
And of course the other one could be Man City against Bayern, could be Man City against PSG. I mean
Yeah.
that which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Man City Bayern or do you prefer Man City PSG?
I think Man City would prefer Man City PSG.
Yeah.
They may not want to play Bayern,
I tell you
but
what, that
it's probably gonna be Man City and Bayern.
I tell you what, that could be a war in the making. Qatar against UAE. They're not having the best of times right now. That could be something, wouldn't it? What would
Battle of
happen there?
Dortmund.
Oh my God, that'd be something. But I mean, tell you what, if PSG get past Bayern, they've got to feel confident about going on and winning the tournament if they can get past Bayern.
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
something, isn't it? Shashwat, are you back yet? I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Rohit.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we hadn't lost you fully, but I guess we're looking at this one again. Shashwat, for you, three English teams, possibility of three English teams in the semi-final. That hasn't happened since 2009. There was a time when this was like a granted given thing. Is
Yeah.
there how likely do you think that is going to happen?
Yeah. Means what I have seen about the draw, I think I'm definitely thinking Man City will go through,
Mm-hmm.
and Man City and Chelsea because in the semi-finals, Liverpool might miss out because I think Real Madrid have that experience and the
I don't think
quality
we can play
to
Man
beat.
City in semi-finals.
No, you say Man City and Chelsea will go
Yeah,
through to the semi-finals.
Oh, okay.
Man City and Liverpool might miss out because they, I think Real Madrid has a little bit more quality and experience where they can and plus Liverpool don't have that two. They have the two inexperienced centre backs, which Karim Benzema and also Vinicius and Modric and Toni Kroos could have a could expose
Like,
them.
mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, I think my semi-final will be Bayern Man City and or Bayern or PSG because this is 50-50. I'm not able to decide. I think away goal rules might come into the picture, but I am not able to decide that any team can beat anybody. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah. And Chelsea, Real Madrid, I think these two teams will definitely go through.
That's interesting.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting. You forget about not mentioning one name from Real Madrid's attacking list, and that is Eden Hazard.
Yeah,
That's probably for the best. Yeah, we all know he's not
yeah,
going to make an impact. I
yeah,
wonder if he's
yeah.
going to be fit for the
I think he
semi-finals.
probably is gonna have a surgery, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I know.
Eden
I
Hazard
know.
rest of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, that was just a sly dig
it's a
at
shame.
Eden Hazard. It's a shame what's happened to him, but well, who knows? Maybe he might have a miracle recovery if they're playing Chelsea in the semi-finals. Be like, I want to go back there and show myself. But anyway, all right, let's move on to after this. Now that we've discussed the second tier competition, let's go to the top competition in Europe, the Europa League. We all know that's where the action is at. Okay. No, I'm kidding, but well, only slightly kidding. I do love the Europa League. Actually, it's a wonderful
Can't
competition.
really
Yeah,
say about the action, man. Whenever we play in it, we win it. So it's just that kind of thing to
No, that's
us.
true. Yes, that is true actually, in a sense, isn't it? Yes, but anyway, Europa League. We're going to talk about all the games, but it's an interesting tie. Arsenal against Slavia Prague. I think that's it's a tricky one because Slavia Prague have beaten
yeah.
Leicester. They have beaten Rangers.
Uh,
Both very good
Rangers.
teams. So it's a bit of a banana skin tie, but still, I think it's a winnable one for Arsenal. They should win through, right? Shashwat?
I think it will be a tricky game because the reason why because you just saw last game and problem with Arsenal is that you expect the unexpected. Means sometimes they will play so well, means they can beat anyone, but in the other leg they can get thrashed. I don't think they will get thrashed, but they will lose comfortably. And the problem is that a mistake is everywhere from them. Their midfield, our midfield is at the moment. Granit Xhaka can make mistake anytime. Bellerin can make mistake anytime in our right back. He's exposed every time. So this is where, and also El Neni and all, and plus Aubameyang has not been at his best this season. So I think if
Mhm.
Arsenal wants to progress to the next round, first of all, I think I will start definitely with Cedric as a right back because he is slightly better than Hector Bellerin at the moment, and
Mhm.
also I will definitely start Partey because Partey has I don't think he's been very good, but still with him there is an assurance,
Yeah.
and also Oba has to pick up his form because the chances that he missed yesterday against Olympiacos as well as in means in the first leg against Benfica, those were very this could prove costly against the big teams, against teams like Slavia Prague, because I don't know much about them, but still I think they are a very good side because they have not lost a game yet in their league. They have beaten Leicester and Rangers last two ties, so I think it will be a very tricky game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Slavia, just if you don't know, Thomas Sushek, who plays for West Ham, he came from Slavia Prague, and I believe there's another Czech player as well. I think Sufal also came from Slavia Prague, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, somebody can check that. The only thing I would say about Arsenal is maybe not play Dani Ceballos, because every time I see him playing in the Europa League, I hear that he's made a mistake that's led to a goal. Like he's
Yeah,
responsible for the goals that have been scored. So maybe not starting him in that game. But Nishikant, do you see any opportunity for an upset, or do you think it's Arsenal should sail through? I mean, Shashwat has a biased opinion, obviously, and he's being pragmatic. But as someone who saw Arsenal thrash Chelsea, you're muted, by the way. Um, so as someone who saw his team get thrashed by
Yeah.
Arsenal, so yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, what Shashwat mentioned. Arsenal game could have been a banana skin for us. It proved to be a banana skin for us. We lost against Arsenal, and he's right. They could lose against a lesser team, or at least a lesser team on the paper. So definitely, but yeah, as with Chelsea and Porto, this is a game that Arsenal should win, and so I think they would win it. They would sail through.
I
What
see what you
happened?
did there. Like, yeah, Arsenal can lose to a lesser team. They can beat better teams, and that's the thing. They can lose to
That
lesser teams.
dawned
So
on a
Chelsea are a
bit
better
late.
team. Like, I can see that right now. Like, what you're saying, Shinkan, I can see it.
That
But
dawned on you a little late,
no,
and that this.
Gian, yeah, no, that's interesting. Gian, we'll talk about the other one, Manchester United against Granada. And actually, I thought it was Girona, but actually it's Granada. And it's an interesting one. I think this is a tricky tie more than what people are talking, because Granada, for a while, Granada were in the race for Champions League spots in La Liga. Again, it's La Liga, and unfortunately, we don't know what the quality is like right now. But they have been on a bit of a sad one. Do you see United winning this one? Do you see them struggling against a team like Granada?
I actually see both English teams reaching the next stage.
Hmm.
Arsenal have a kind of a tricky draw, to be honest, but United are breezing past.
I mean,
I
any
feel,
team in this, last eight would have been easy for United the way they are playing right now. They're second
Oh.
in the league, so they're not.
Oh.
I mean, United have
You
just
guys,
transformed.
yeah.
PGS is doing so well right now. Pogba and Bruno. Pogba has found his feet, and Bruno Fernandes has always been as amazing as he is. Uh, Easy, probably 3-4, 1-0 victory
I
for
mean,
United.
probably United versus Ajax might have been a game that a neutral would want to watch.
Yeah,
That might
That could
happen
have
in the
been a good
semis,
game.
yeah.
That could have been a good game, but I think for United, any team here would have been a easy game
Yeah.
with their
So
current form.
yeah, so all United fans, if you watch United crash out of the quarterfinals of the Europa League, you know why. You know where the black magic has come from. It's come from this episode right here. But it's interesting. I just have one final question before we close this. I think we've got I think there's an interesting semi-final tie that's probably going to happen if Arsenal take on Villarreal. That's a game. It's a rematch from a Champions League semi-final from a long time ago. But also, it's Unai Emery who's managing Villarreal, and that'll be interesting. Arteta against his predecessor. But my question is actually about it's about a few things that I noticed. One, Serie A only has one team in the Europa League. That's Roma that are playing there. No teams in the Champions League in the quarterfinals. La Liga, same thing. Just one team in the Champions League quarterfinals, Real Madrid. And some would argue they had a pretty easy draw to get through. They have a couple of teams in the Europa League, but why has it gone wrong for these teams? These were teams that, were having 2-3 teams in the quarters of the European competitions. And is it indicative of quality that Chelsea can beat Atletico Madrid, who are top of La Liga, PSG can brush aside Barcelona, who are second, or is it just the fact that they're going through lean periods? I mean, what's wrong with them? Maybe we'll start with you, Gian, since you follow La Liga a little bit more than the others. What do you think? Where is it gone wrong? Is it is something wrong, or is just the surface?
I mean, if you're talking about the quality of La Liga right now, I don't know. I mean, you've seen Barcelona last season. How much motivated are you when your own captain wants to leave you? I think Messi's still leaving. He still hasn't signed anything, and I don't know. To be honest, the one thing I have noticed is the pandemic has hit different teams in different ways. Right before the pandemic, Liverpool were winning everything. Right after that, they actually locked out. I mean, they really did. If people forget to notice one thing, Liverpool really did not have a good finish to last season. They were on course for 14 points or something. They hardly ended up with 98 or something. On the other hand, some other teams like United seem to have regained their Ferguson form. I know you're pretty happy hearing that. So,
if Ferguson form is crashing out of the Champions League and putting in the Europa League and then somehow managing to eke out wins, then yes, they are in Ferguson form. But
I mean, if you
Well,
don't
if you
remember,
win Europa League, you have a trophy and a Champions League slot
that's a big
guaranteed.
if, though. That's a big if. I don't know. That's too far away to think right now.
Ferguson did crash out of the Champions League group stages in his last few seasons.
Well,
So
you can't deny United are favourites to win Europa League.
no.
On paper, probably. Well, I would put Arsenal ahead, but yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, to be fair, United were favourites in last season's Europa League too, and then lost to Sevilla.
Yeah.
So we find ways to lose against teams, right? There's because we've got Maguire and Lindelof there waiting to give goals to the opposition.
No, in the Europa League, don't beat Sevilla. I mean, Sevilla just don't.
Yeah, there's not Sevilla, so it's a bit more open. Otherwise, I'd be like, Sevilla winning this thing. But anyway, back to the conversation. Shashwat, La Liga, Serie A, is something wrong. There's something wrong there, and they keep wanting to change it. They want to have more teams, more European games. That's what Juventus want anyway. It's just sad to see how far the domestic leagues have fallen. Those two in particular.
Yeah, definitely. I think because in La Liga, just like since about 2 or 3 years ago, if Chelsea and Atletico would have drawn, then most probably many people would have predicted Atletico will win, because I think I remember when in 2017, 18, 19 seasons they used to go to the finals, and Real Madrid also, you see the quality and everything about the Madrid. Barcelona, I think there has something is missing in La Liga. I think those passion, and I think that has been slightly dipping in La Liga at the moment. Atletico has fallen despite leading a table. I think Atletico are at the moment top of the table, but still, I was very surprised with the result, because against Chelsea, because Chelsea completely dominated them in both the legs. Barcelona, you have seen how they are playing at the moment, because I don't see any confidence. Yeah, they in their team. Messi is at the moment he's leaving. He means he's not able to make up his mind whether he will stay or not at the moment. And Real Madrid, since Cristiano Ronaldo has left, that since they are not the same at the moment, that they don't look like the team that has won 3 Champions League in a row. So, and same goes with in Serie A teams. Since Juventus, you have seen how they crashed out. Since they are bottling every time the Champions League, where they brought Cristiano to just win the Champions League only. I think that was the main reason, because they were reaching the finals, but they were not able to win it. And that since Juventus and Inter Milan, I was very surprised that they don't win. So I think there is something that quality is lacking in those. Yeah, some big players, good players are not coming at the moment. Also, they have been hit by the pandemic also. So I think that is the reason why I think they are not getting the best players out of at the moment, and they are moving to the Premier League mostly, joining. Some are joining Man City, some are joining Chelsea. Because I thought that once either Chelsea, Barcelona, or Real Madrid or Juventus would have gone with Kevin De Bruyne. But at the moment, I don't see anything with. They are not bidding. Also, they are not going for there.
Yeah, no,
So
they
that
can't afford Kevin De Bruyne's wages. Whether that's the ones that he gets paid above or whether what he gets paid under the table, he's not getting that.
Barca doesn't have money. That's
Yeah,
clear.
yeah,
Barca
yeah,
doesn't have money.
I'm,
Juventus have outstretched themselves when they bought Ronaldo, so they
mhm.
can't spend big either. And
yeah.
if you go to those leagues, there aren't many teams to choose from. So if the
Yeah.
top ones really can't, afford you, then there's
Yeah.
no point going.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. Always historically, Serie A has always relied on Italian players, good Italian players, to bank
Yeah,
them. They never really got a lot of foreign players, and they don't have good. Italy doesn't have that many good players now that it used to have before. I think La Liga relied a lot on Argentinians, Brazilians, and South Americans coming to them, the top South American players. But they are now probably moving to, as Shashwat mentioned, they're moving to the Premier League or to the Bundesliga or to Liga. So yeah, there's some things there. But anyway. We'll see what happens in the quarterfinals. Maybe Real Madrid will surprise us and win the tournament, and then we'll be talking about how great La Liga is again. Maybe who knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen, but it will be interesting. The draws will the quarterfinals begin in a couple of weeks. We have international break in between. Finally, a bit of break from football. I think there's been too much of that, so we can all take a bit of a break.
there
But
can't be anything like too much of football, man.
I
I'm
don't know. Let's
already
say every three
dreading
days.
the international break.
Yeah, well, I mean, 3-4 days of every day like constant. I think get a bit of a break is nice, and we might have some things planned for that period anyway. So, but we shall see. But thank you so much, Shashwat, Zeehan, and Nishikant for joining me today and to review this Champions League draw and the Europa League draw. And I can still see you guys are smiling very nicely because you know what's gonna happen in a few weeks. We're gonna be talking about how Chelsea ball up aside Porto and end of the semi-finals, possibly facing Liverpool. And for a place in Istanbul, when did that happen before? Did that happen before? I think it did, right? Wasn't it Chelsea and
I
Liverpool?
think we have met. Yeah, we have met Pool in
No,
semis
no.
before. The ghost.
Chelsea and Liverpool in the Champions League semi-final, but a place in Istanbul for the final. When did that happen?
Ah,
2005, didn't it? 2005,
yeah,
Milan
yeah,
Baros scores a
yeah,
ghost goal.
yeah, yeah. 2000.
Yes,
Yeah. The
yeah, that
ghost
would be
goal.
interesting now,
That
wouldn't
is
it?
right.
History repeating itself 16 years on. No Milan though in the final,
Yeah, maybe
unfortunately.
it's time for us to
The,
score a
the tie
ghost.
of the ghost goal, if you don't remember.
Yes, the ghost goal. Yes, from Milan
Hmm.
Baros, right? Yeah.
When the ball did not cross the line at all, but the referee's like, okay, let me just give a goal. Because I
Well,
need Liverpool.
now we don't have a Liverpool fan. We don't have Ayush here today to tell you whether they actually went
It
across.
definitely didn't cross the line, and it's our chance to take
And
revenge.
I can show you video. This
Well, to be fair,
proves.
the referee did say that he was going to give a penalty if it was not a goal. So, one way or another, that might have ended up in the back of the net. Anyway, that's what the ref said, but I don't know. I'm sure Mourinho is still begrudging that. I think that might have been his best moment to win the Champions League with Chelsea. But anyway, phenomenal teams, those. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. All the best to your teams in the Champions League and the Europa League. Shashwat, not too much of best, but, still hopefully you guys can at least do well enough to get to the final.
Yeah,
Unless
definitely.
United bottle it,
It
then
could be an all English final, Europa League.
we could have an all English final. We could have an all English Champions League final as well.
Yeah,
There's so many possibilities that could happen. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be very very
it
interesting.
most likely will be an all English final in Europa League.
Well, you're
Even
talking Man City will have to get past Bayern or PSG if they
no,
get
I
past.
mean
So.
I'm saying Europa League.
Oh, Europa, yeah. There's a chance, but I wouldn't count out Ajax and Roma just yet. I think they've or
Yeah,
Granada for that matter. I think Granada, Ajax, and Roma. I think they can still do something. And
So you're very quick to discount your own team. Don't worry.
that's because I've seen them. I've always
Saying they
got.
would win it won't jinx it, man.
No,
Come
no. The
on.
thing is,
Say
I
you
said
can win
this.
it.
No, I said this after the Istanbul game. I said I'm never backing this team again. Like I said this, and I'm sticking to my word for the rest of the season. I'm not backing that team. So because I back them for a draw, but I cannot back them for a win. That's just you back them and then they disappoint you. So I'm sticking with that. Continuity matters, folks. Continuity matters. But anyway, all right. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have a good night. And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this show, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support. And if you do that, then we can bring in more guests and have them do this show more often. So if you want to see more of Nishikant, Zeehan, and Shashwat on this show, then please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.